Hello everybody, this is Alan again, aka Cheetah, and welcome back to this beginner's guide to programming. Now, on the first episode, we learned how to pause the program and read and write from the console. On this episode, we're going to tackle variables, which includes how to save values and use these values on a later time. Now, the first thing that we're going to do is to load the program that we've created on part 1. And for me, it's right here on the recent projects, but if it's not there, you're going to have to go File, Open, Project from the project solution. And you're going to have to search in there for the program that you've created. But since I have it right here, I'm going to simply click on the lessons in here, and this will load the program for me. And as you can see, very quickly loaded. It might take some time, some longer time for you. But let's go ahead and get started. Now, the first thing that we're going to do is to delete all of that because we are done with that. We're not going to use it anymore. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to write a simple program that asks for a name and an age, and then it says hello and whatever the name was, and then it's going to say the year that they were born. To do that, we're going to need to learn about data types. Now, there's several different types of data types, but the main two that we're going to use for this tutorial are string, which is a text, which is equal text, and integer, which is equal whole numbers, so numbers. Now, if you forgot what that means, what I'm doing right now, these are comments which are completely ignored by the program. You can write comments by putting the apostrophe key, which is this key right here, and you can identify the comments by the green text. The program will always ignore the green text, so you can write whatever you want in there, and you can write as many comments as you want. Alright. So, let's go ahead and declare our variable. If you are not familiar with the term variable, it's what it really means is that it creates a memory location where you can store data. Now, this might sound really complicated. Basically, you can think of a variable like a placeholder, where you can put the value in and use the placeholder to use the value that you saved in there. To declare a variable, you need to use the keyword dim, then hit the spacebar and enter the name of the variable, which means the identifier of the variable. Now, this will store the name, so I'm going to call it name, and then you want to say what data type it is. Now, the name is a text, so obviously it's going to be a string. So hit the spacebar and then use the keyword as, and there is where you're going to say the data type. The as identifies that you're about to say the data type, and then you need to say the data type. In our case, is a string. And if I hit enter, you're going to see this green squiggly line, which basically is just a message, which is a very small problem, which doesn't even affect the program. Which is there because we haven't used the variable. We have declared it, but we haven't used it. So it's saying this is a waste of space. Now, you don't need to worry about that because we're going to use, but if you are not going to use immediately, what you can do is to give it an initial value, which you can do by, after you're saying as string, you put a space, equals to, and the value. Now remember, a string is a text, and text will always be between quotation marks. And since we wanted an empty string, we simply open and close the quotation marks, and that gets rid of the green squiggly lines. Then we need to ask the user to enter their name. So to do that, just like we did in part 1 of this tutorial, we're going to do console.writeLine, and we're going to say please enter your name. then close the brackets and hit the enter key. And then you want to save what the user is going to type into name. So what we do is name, which is our variable, it's equal to, and then we want to let the user to write something on the console. So exactly like we did in part 1, we're going to type in console.readLine. Now, if you're curious about the difference between readLine and read, just like on writeLine and write, is that after it does whatever it needs to do, if it is write, it will write, if it is read, it will read, then it would simulate like an enter key, so it would start fresh on the next line. So you could do something like console.write, just write, this is a test, space, and then you can do console.write again, or you can do even console.writeLine in there to show the difference. Console.writeLine. Hello. Now you don't need to worry about that. I'm just going to run, oh, and we need to pause the program. So console.readLine, and we're going to pause the program. My name is Cheetah, so I'm just going to enter Cheetah, and then as you can see, we have, this is a test with a space, and then I gave another space for no reason, but you have to show the difference on the same line as this is a test, and then because this line is a write line, it gives a carriage return, so start the next thing on the next line, which is hello. That's why I typed in hello, just to demonstrate that. Now we can get rid of that because we don't need it. And now back to the program that we were creating. We need to ask the user to enter their age, but we need to save that age somewhere as well, and the way to do it is to create another variable. So once again, use the keyword dim, and then the name of your variable, which in my case I'm going to call it age, as integer. Oops, integer. What's wrong with my typing? And to avoid the green error, I'm going to say equal to 0 to initialize it. So that gives it a default value. And then we're going to ask the user to enter their age. So console.writeLine, and in fact I'm going to use console.write. I'm going to say please enter your age, then I'll give it a space, I'll close it, and then I'm going to say age is equal to console.readLine, and this is going to show you that if you do it like this, console.write and then console.readLine, you would have the input of the age on the same line as you're asking for the age. So that's a nice way to do it, just a different way, so you can choose which way you prefer. And then we want to say console.writeLine, so we can type in hello, and then we want to say their names. Now to say their names, you need to learn a string operator and, so we will know that whatever you're going to type in needs to be put after we say hello, because if we don't put and we simply type in name, then it's going to get confused, because what it's understanding is that you have a string, and then you have a space and it's waiting for a keyword. and the keyword represents a string. So basically what it's saying is that you're giving me two strings and I'm supposed to write only one. What do I do? Now, for it to understand that all of that is supposed to be treated as one string, you simply put the AND operator, and this will basically put whatever you have on the value of name is to be placed at the end of the first string, and this will be considered as one string. And then we're going to calculate the age, and we're going to write the year that they were born. So console.writeLine, I'm going to put a message, you have been with us since, and once again we want to put the AND operator so it knows that what we're going to do is supposed to be next. And then I'm going to put the year that we are on 2014 minus age. Now what I did here, it's a bad practice. Okay, I'm going to leave it right now. I'm going to run the program, and then I'm going to change this to something that's very similar to a variable, but it's not a variable. Do not mix the two. What I'm going to use is a constant instead. But let us just pause the program, console.readLine, and let's run the program so you can see what happens. Now, my name obviously is Cheetah, and I am 21. And as you can see, Cheetah is being written on a second line because I used WriteLine for the first, and 21 is writing on the same line as it is asking for an age because I used write for here. Alright, let's hit enter. And hello Cheetah, you've been with us since 1993, which is correct. I've been born in the year of 1993, so we know it's working. And of course it's pressed the wrong key there. And now let's change this to something that is better. We want to declare a constant. As I said, variables and constants are similar, but they are not the same. They're not declared in the same way. A constant has another keyword to explain that what you're going to do will be a new constant, and the keyword is const. And then you want to give it a name, just like you do in a variable, and I'm going to call it year. Then you need a data type, exactly like a variable, and it's going to be an integer. And then you must give it a value. Unlike a variable that you can, but you don't have to, on constants you absolutely must give it an initial value. If you don't, it's going to give you an error because it doesn't know what this constant is. So let's give space, and the year that we are on is 2014. And now the blue arrow became a green arrow, and the green arrow is because we haven't used the constant. Because constants and variables are used in different ways. Variables are used as soon as you give it a value, but because constants will always have an initial value, it is only considered as used once you used it somewhere else in the code. And what we want to do is to substitute 2014 in here by the year, which represents 2014. Now the reason for this being better is that you only need to change it once, and it's always at the top, because you always declare your variables and constants all at the top. And if you were to use it again, let's say simply going to say console.writeLine, we are in the year of, and year. And then if we run the program, let's try let's say derp, and derp is a very young man. He is 5 years old, and he was born on the year 2009, and we are on the year 2014, which is all correct. And let's say we use this program for a very long time and it's now 2015 and we want to change that. So instead of having to change it in here and in here, all we need to do is to change it in here, run the program, and let's see how old will I be on the year of 2015. Sorry, I was supposed to put 22 and then see, yeah. Well, mistakes apart, that works, and I hope you understand that. So let me put back on the year 2014 so don't get confused. And save it. And for today, that is all. I hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more. And next time we're going to tackle inbuilt functions, which are the functions that Visual Basic give us. And because this is a quite extensive topic, I'm going to cover this topic in the next 2 tutorials. On the next tutorial we're going to do string functions, which will deal with text, and then on the tutorial after we're going to do number functions, so we're going to deal with numbers. So once again guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to leave any comments that you might have. If you have any questions, I'm here to help, and I'll be seeing you next time.